Hey guys, it's Core Ross and 106 News. Today we've got the patch notes for Operation Dread Factor. So let's jump right into it. Of course, we've got our brand new operator, Fenrir here, and he is coming with the MP7, the STS-12 shotgun, bailiff, barbed wire, bulletproof camera. He's a 2 health, 2 speed, and his gadget is all about kind of making people scared. But they actually just have this sphere of basically kind of similar laser light to what Sense has in his gadget, and it makes a sphere around them, and they just simply cannot see what's going on a few meters from them. We've also got the map rework of Consulate, which I am super impressed with, but also it makes the map absolutely huge. I think it's probably about double the size when it comes to how much extra space there is. And that's something I'm not a fan of because I like the smaller maps, and they're all disappearing as we get everything reworked. And Consulate, of course, was not a small map to begin with. Then we've also got the brand new shooting range, and this is awesome. I did a video about it. I'm seriously impressed with it. I think it is freaking brilliant. And I don't usually use those features, but maybe I actually will. So we'll see. And then we've got the arcade playlist. This is my big disappointment for the season because it just doesn't seem that great. And I feel like it should be great because they should be able to come up with a whole bunch of arcade game modes that should be a lot of fun. But they're all just really simple kind of team deathmatch stuff with deathmatch. There's also the new one, which is free for all. So it's just team deathmatch, but it's free for all. Then we've got golden gun, snipers only, headshots only. Just a little bit too simple. I wanted something like gun game or at least something simple, and it just didn't come in. But still, it's not a bad feature, and I'm very happy to have it. So even though it's my disappointment, I think it's absolutely brilliant to have. Then we've got our new balancing. This is our new gadget here, and it blocks the observation tools. So stuff like drones and cams that attackers are using cannot see through this. And it can be hacked by Brava, and operators actually get quite a lot of them, and it covers a lot of space. I was thinking it was going to be quite a weak gadget, but to be honest, I actually think it might be quite powerful. But I don't know if you'll take it over Impacts or Nitro or even Barbed Wire. We'll see how people play with this, and once it gets in the test server and then once it's on live server, it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. We've also got a buff here for Grim, so he's just getting an overall buff to everything. So like range, ping time, everything is getting buffed in Grim's gadget. So it's not really a rework, but this is part 1 of the rework, where I expect in season 4, when he does get his rework, then I think it'll probably be something quite significant when it does change his gadget. Whereas this is just like increasing range, increasing ping times and all that. We've also got new controller layouts. So they said they're actually planning to make the controllers completely customizable in the future. However, that is not currently in there, but they have given us some extra options here for layouts. So that could be good. And we'll see if any of them actually have the ability to lean without aiming or stuff like that in them. Moving on from that though, we have our player comfort. So we got a new free camera in match replay. Currently, you cannot hide the HUD. They're looking to maybe do that next season. But cool to have a free cam, and you'll be able to fly around the map now. So I'm actually looking forward to giving that a go. There's also a small update to the squad update, which I think is basically going back to how it used to be back in the day, where people can actually vote to like go off and play their match and stuff like that. So that's returning. Operator prices are decreasing, and then ooh, look at our seasonal weapon skin. That is actually very freaking cool. I'm quite happy with that. It may be one I get. You can see that it's got the skull in here, so that's cool. Then we got operator balancing, so there's a ton of balancing. So like I said, Grim here getting a buff all round for his stuff. He's even getting the bailiff as a secondary, he's getting a new hard breach, and everything about his launcher is better. Every single thing here. So it will be powerful, I think, and I'm actually going to be very scared of this. So I was scared of him when he first launched, but he ended up being terrible. Again, I'm now scared of him, basically, because a lot of this does kind of remind me of Lion in some way, but of course not global. So we'll see how this plays out. Then we got Thunderbird, who's getting a buff and a nerf depending on how you're looking at it. So removing impact grenades and our nitro cell, but adding barbed wire and bulletproof cam. But our healing stations are going to heal less health, 20 instead of 30, but they're going to recharge in 15 seconds, which is just way better. So I think this is a massively awesome buff, and it just depends which gadget you like to play with. And I think this is really good for Thunderbird. Then we've got our loadout changes. So Goyu is removing Nitro Cell and replacing Bulletproof Cam, adding impact grenades. Pulse is Nitro Cell is going to become the first gadget slot for the secondary, so just be in the number 1 bit. And then you've got remove barbed wire and replace with deployable shield, adds observation blocker as well. You can see the observation blocker is mostly getting added to operators rather than replacing stuff. Alibi is removing deployable shield, and replacing it with observation blocker, removing impact grenades and replacing with proximity alarm, and Jaeger is removing barbed wire and replacing observation blocker. Then we've got Chanka, who is getting a proximity alarm. Then Clash is getting deployable shield, Ella's getting observation blocker, Rook is getting observation blocker, Warden's getting it, Cav getting it, Kaid's getting it, Maestro's getting it, and Smoke is also getting the observation blocker. Now, interestingly, deployable shield is gone for this guy, but that is not visible here. So interesting that that's actually not on those tweaks. We'll see in a second because we have another patch notes to have a look at as well. So we've got some kind of tweaking to the reputation system here. We've got top of the ladder improvements. So they haven't exactly said how this is going to be implemented, but Emerald, Diamond, and Champion are now steeper requirements. No idea what that means. If it, just get less points when you get there, or if you need to play a certain amount of games to get into them, or what, I do not know. But something is changing with ranked up there, but they just haven't revealed what. And then console is getting added to all the playlists, and it'll be unbannable for the whole season. This also goes for the new operator, Fenry, who is also going to be unbannable for the first 2 weeks after release. That is the time that Battle Pass owners get with the new operator. And they're also going to allow you to change your audio settings in game, so which device is being used. Now let's move on to designer notes. This is a little bit different. This goes in more depth with stuff. So first of all, of course, we've got our balance and grass here, Emerald and above, and we'll have a look. So first of all, we've got ourselves PC. This is what the PC one looks like. Relatively simple, very congested, but look at Yana getting way up here. Now, of course, as she goes higher and higher up the pick rate, her win rate is going to actually stay relatively simple because she's even being played all the time, 70% of games. So people who are playing her are winning and losing because she's just getting played all the freaking time right now. And it keeps her win rate relatively flat, but her pick rate's going a bit nuts. We got Ashe right behind her, and you can see that our operators here who are doing pretty decent back here. But for console, so Yana's still up there. We've got Ace. Ashe is way further down. Oh, Sens is way down here. He needs a little buff on the recoil for controller, I think. I would definitely see that being fixed in the future. But what we can see here is a good collection and not much overall huge differences. Then we've got our defenders. So for PC, Emerald and above, we can see that Clash is way down here. Chanka's doing a little bit better. Remember, he got his 2x sight last time, so that seems to have paid off. We've got no one kind of running away here on the PC side. And Rook has got a good win rate because, of course, his armor actually helps you win quite a bit. But a low pick rate overall, but the teams that are picking him are winning. And then if we go to the console, Oryx is still getting picked a ton. So he lost his 1.5, but he is still getting picked a lot. And again, he's got quite a flat win rate because he's getting picked on both the winning and losing side. Then we've got Kapkan up here doing very, very well. Along with Frost, these guys are both doing well, and they both kind of been getting a bit of a nerf here and there. We got Rook, yet again, still up here, high win rate. But Clash is doing better on console. Smoke's down here. Actually, where is he on PC? He's up here. So that's quite a difference for old Smokey Boy there. We got Mozzie right behind Oryx, whereas Mozzie on PC is down here. Interesting choices there. Definitely see on console, it is all about the weapon. This is a good weapon. This is a good weapon. Again, this is a good weapon as well. And Warden has 1.5, but you can see his win rate is actually terrible. So he's not doing great. Even though he's getting picked a lot, he's not doing that well at all. And then we've got our bands. So what we've got here is our PC. We can see Thatcher and Jackal at the top. Console, Jackal, and Thatcher. So nothing really surprising there at all. And then for PC, Emerald and above, we've got Mira, Kaid, and Valkyrie. Over here, we got Kapkan, Kaid, and Mira. Then gadget balancing. So let's have a look at all this. We got observation blocker. I'm going to just be amazed at how this plays out because 3 per operator, that was more than I was expecting. The thing is huge, 5 meters wide and height 2.2 meters. I'm just amazed at this thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because it could be rubbish, but also it could be very powerful, and it'll be interesting to see how it gets played. And Ella, Rook, Warden, Cav, Kaid, Maestro, Pulse, Alibi, and Jaeger all have this. And I'm very curious if it still says that Smoke is not losing his shield, because that's what was in the patch notes in the previous. So Alibi, losing deployable shield, getting impact raise and all that. So this is what we've gone over earlier. I want to get down to Smoke. We'll come back to Grim in a second. Yes, so here it is, remove deployable shield. So it's definitely still in here. And they say smoke is that one to go to when somebody asks for area denial. Even if he's not the optimal option in every situation, his loadout makes him consistently viable and useful. Without a deployable shield, we expect the decision won't be as easy and will leave some space for other area denial defenders. Curious. Okay, that is the reasoning. What about Thunderbird? So they say, we want to make playing on top of a Kona station fairer. On consoles where headshots are less likely, you may end up fighting against a defender that has plus 30 HP because of the automatic heal will trigger in the first tick of damage received. However, we are reducing the cooldown on the heals so that the Kona station will be able more often when a defender needs it, and it will reward staying there until full health as the healing potential over time is higher than before. This is interesting anyway, because like I think this is a buff to me anyway. This is a buff, but again, we'll just have to see it on the test server and on the live servers to be sure. Additionally, Thunderbird was released with a very strong loadout that encourages very aggressive play. We want to reduce her kill potential by removing the nitro cell and making the shotgun make the shotgun a meaningful option by removing her impact grenades. We replace them with support focused gadgets that we believe will fit her role better. So they want to make her more of an anchor overall. That is the case, like with Thunderbird, whenever I play her, I usually put down her gadgets and then I run and I go roaming. So yeah, maybe that is a good idea, but we'll see. Then we got Grim here. Let's go back to this. So his Hive launcher. So equip time has been reduced is to now 1 second instead of 1.1. So not much of a difference there. But rate of fire is way higher. So he should be able to get his hives off way quicker and just saturate the area basically. Then the activation time, so this is when it hits the wall and then drops down, is 0.4 seconds. It is so much faster. I've seen this in gameplay, playing it myself, and scary. But it is now vulnerable to bullets, lasers, and melee damage, where normally it was bulletproof. This, though, with the activation time, I am not going to be able to take this thing out quick enough. Like, I'm not going to be able to do that. It's going to go off no matter what. And then the actual bees, their duration has been increased to 16 seconds from 8. Radius side has gone up tremendously. It doesn't, sound like much, 4.6 from 3.6, but it's huge in game. Then we've got detection system that detects any part of the body, not only the head. So apparently it was only detecting heads before. So I guess, I don't think that's where it was pinging the player. I don't think it was pinging their heads. It would just be that if your head was in the range, it would get detected. But now any part of the body will set off the ping. And then you've got the decay duration reduction, which is down to 4 seconds from 9, and the actual pings themselves, they're now 1 second. It used to be 139, where it is now 1 second for each ping. And then for loadout change, we're getting the Bailiff as an option and the Heart Breach. Pretty damn good options. And here is the reason behind it. But in 2 seasons' time, he gets a proper rework in Season 4. Not sure how much of this will stay, if any, or if all of it stays, but he will be getting a dramatic change in Season 4. So I'm very curious. I think this will be, like, when I read this, I think very powerful. But I wonder what is going to happen in Season 4. Like, this to me is just a middle ground until we get that. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the patch notes in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.